Hello and welcome back to my channel, Pennies and Salt. I'm Megan and I am a homeschooling mom to 6 kids. Today's video is actually part of a collaboration with Leilani from Living with Eve. And this specific collaboration has lots of other homeschool moms involved, and we are each sharing about a different style of homeschooling. The reason that we are doing this collaboration is for informational purposes, especially for those of you who are interested in learning more information about homeschooling and understanding how to do it. So I will link the playlist down below as well as all the other channels who are involved. I should have looked at the list before I started this video so that I could just tell you everyone involved, but there are a lot. So I will list them down below, so make sure to check that out. So the homeschooling style that I'm going to talk to you about today specifically is one called Eclectic Homeschooling. So Eclectic Homeschooling obviously you can kind of tell what it is about based on the word eclectic. But I'm going to outline a little further about what exactly eclectic homeschooling is. Eclectic. Say that like 5 times fast and I guarantee you will trip up your tongue. So let's start with what exactly is eclectic homeschooling. So eclectic homeschooling is when you take different styles and different methods based on your child's needs and interests and you combine them together basically for your homeschooling year. So that sounds super simple, but that really is what it is. But there is a little bit more to it, and I'm going to get into that. It is very individualized when you choose to be an eclectic homeschooler, simply because you are usually specifically matching curriculum and homeschooling resources to each child's need in your homeschool. I happen to have 6, 4 of them are homeschooling age, and so not all of them use all the same homeschooling curriculum. However, I do tend to do family subjects together, but I'm very careful about how I piece those together, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. So some people take eclectic homeschooling and relaxed homeschooling and they actually lump them together, when actually there is a difference between the two. The reason is because eclectic homeschooling is very intentional in its choices and methods, and it's finding just the right mix of curriculum and resources for your child. So it's not that relaxed. It is very, focused and parent-led, but it is using your child's interests and abilities and learning styles in order to pick that curriculum. So how do you do eclectic homeschooling? So maybe you are done using just one specific method with your child and you want to move into a more eclectic, individualized style of learning. So how would you do that? The first thing that you want to do is you want to take note of how exactly your child learns. Now, it may look different in different subjects and areas. I know it does for some of my children. One of my children, luckily, is one of those that fits well and adapts well with any style that I choose. But the other ones are not so much that way, especially one in particular, and I'll get to that in just a second. So you want to pay really, really close attention to what are the styles in which they learn, what interests them, because when you do a little bit of interest-led choosing of curriculum, you usually will have a better outcome just because your child is excited and interested in their learning. So that's something to keep in mind as well. You also want to make sure that you are researching curriculum and resources just to see what's out there. There are some great videos. I actually hosted a collab a few weeks ago with a ton of other homeschool moms that outlined and showed all of our favorite curriculums. It was my favorite homeschooling curriculum collaboration, and we made that specifically as a resource for homeschooling parents so that they could see what our favorites were and why, so that maybe that would help you in choosing curriculum for your child. Another great resource is Rebecca Spooner over at Homeschool On. That's a YouTube channel as well. She has done some videos, and I will link those down below, as well as the playlist from the collaboration that I hosted. But she has done some videos where she took like the top 10 math curriculums and the top 10 language arts curriculums, and she basically did a comparison of them. She showed what the methods are like and what they look like, basically very basic on the inside, and so that may help you as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where this whole eclectic homeschooling style has really changed our homeschool. And that is because when I first started, I was very focused in on, okay, this is my style, this is my method. I really overall lean more towards a Charlotte Mason approach when it comes to younger children. When we first started out homeschooling, I actually did my Father's World curriculum with my oldest son. Love that curriculum. It's the sweetest kindergarten curriculum ever. Anyway, so we did that, and it is very Charlotte Mason minded. It's, derived from the Charlotte Mason method, but it is not full on Charlotte Mason. However, and my oldest son did wonderful. He learned well to read through that program and everything. It was very kind of relaxed. And so when it got to my second son, he actually did not do well with that at all. He needed extreme structure. He needed extreme repetition. We actually ended up using 4 different reading curriculums before we found our fit. And our fit is a highly, highly structured program called Learning to Read from Christian Light Education, and I actually did a flip through on this as well. It's just a very, very structured, extremely thorough program. This is what worked for him. So again, there you go. So, but at first, when it didn't work for him, but I knew it worked well for my older child, it was a little bit of a shock to the system because, well, I loved it, and that was my method, and I really wanted to do it that way, but it just didn't work for my son. So he needed that extra structure. So that is when my eyes and my world opened to this eclectic homeschooling. So another example is my other 2 who are kindergarten this year. Well, one's actually preschool, but they're doing kindergarten together. They are actually doing another phonics program called Foundations Phonics, which is just super straight to the point, very simple, but very effective, and that works well for them. I can honestly say that this would not have worked with my second son. I can just tell by the way that it's done, by the way it's structured, and that's just because learning styles, learning needs, you gotta find what works. As far as science, you run the gamut from like a very textbook-based science, in-depth science, textbook, workbook, all that kind of stuff. That's Bob Jones, by the way. To a more kind of Charlotte Mason-minded curriculum, like the Good and the Beautiful science units, which I love the unit study approach of these science units. This is what I was looking for this year for our homeschool, because last year we did Apologia, and we were so tired of the same science subject the whole entire year. We did Apologia Anatomy, and I was like, can we stop talking about the human body now? Like halfway through the year. So this has worked really well for our homeschool this year. Everybody has been a lot more focused, and we are actually using this, but not using the workbooks, and we're adapting this to work more like this for us. So I hope that this video was helpful. I obviously am an eclectic homeschooler. Leave down in the comments below what type of homeschooler you are. There's all, like I said, there's no right or wrong way as long as we are educating our children, and I hope that you are having fun doing it and that it is a blessing to do. So I hope that this was helpful today. Make sure to click on the playlist for this collaboration to watch the other videos about the other styles of homeschooling as well. Start when you transition into eclectic, that word, I swear. So really, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you, Leilani, for hosting this collab.